Hi, everyone. I am Amy Zellmer of Faces of TBI, and I'm here today with Becky Henry. And today we're going to share with you 3 simple stress relievers. And I want to introduce Becky to you. Becky Henry inspires people to reclaim joy. In 2003, Becky created Hope Network LLC, inspiring families living with eating disorders to let go of pain and suffering and get their lives back. She is a national award-winning author of Just Tell Her to Stop, Family Stories of Eating Disorders. Becky is a certified professional coactive coach and associate certified coach, designated by the International Coach Federation. Becky Henry's Hope Network LLC is changing the way caregivers are supported while caregiving. Through education, coaching, and a community of support, hopelessness and helplessness are replaced with hope. And Becky, I just have to tell you, I love that little tagline. That's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my whole what gives me joy is seeing parents who have children with eating disorders have their hopelessness and helplessness replaced with hope. It makes me so happy.
And that's anything, any injury or disorder or disease, you can have that hopelessness and helplessness. So It's a beautiful phrase.
Thanks.
So thank you for being here and for sharing your expertise with my audience.
I'm happy to. This is great.
Yeah, so I know Becky through my women's writing group, and she's just a lovely person, and you guys are just going to love her. And she's going to share with you 3 simple stress relievers. And I practice most of these myself. And with TBI, we can start to get kind of anxious if we get overstimulated or if we get fatigued, or if, our PTSD starts creeping up. So these are some very practical things that you can implement no matter where you are. If you're in the mall, if you're at a restaurant, you can do these things to try and calm that anxiety. And if you're a caregiver, these are great things for you as well, because it is very stressful to be a caregiver, and you need to remember to take care of yourself first. Becky had a great quote in our podcast earlier about how on an airplane, they tell you, the parent, to put on the oxygen mask before putting it on the children. And that's exactly what caregiving is about. You need to keep yourself full in order to help fill up the person you're giving care to.
Exactly.
With that said, Becky, why don't we jump into your stress reliever number 1?
Okay, so number 1 is on these 3 simple stress relievers we're going to talk about. Stop and notice your distress. And that might sound really obvious, but to simply stop and notice it and ask yourself, how is this serving me? Mm-hmm. And really think about it and go, how is this serving me? Is it serving me to be hopeless or helpless or panicked or anxious? Maybe not. Okay. What would I like to think about instead? What would I like to focus on instead? And it could be a little tricky at times because you just go, well, this is a pretty bad situation. I just need to focus on that. But you're going to deal with the bad situation if you can change your thought from the distress or the anxiety or the panic to something else. So that's that one. Stop and notice your distressing thought and ask how it's serving you.
Mm-hmm. And, we were talking earlier, Becky, about how I'm a huge advocate of positive thinking and watching the words we use.
Yeah.
And, when you start to have those thoughts, it is so easy to go down the rabbit hole of negativity. Yes. I feel like crap. Nobody cares. Nobody, it's just, you get all those negative and they spiral. And if you stop and notice that you're saying those words, and just change. I mean, I know it can be challenging when you're in that moment, right? But if you can stop and kind of reframe and be like, you know what, I'm okay. This is okay. I'm through this.
And that's so important, Amy, with the language thing. I used to say, oh, I'm really anxious to hear what happens with your job interview. Well, I don't say that anymore. I say, I'm eager to hear about your job interview.
Yeah. Anxious
Because
is kind of a icky word if you
it
suffer from
is. I
anxiety.
used to say it all the time,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm eager to hear about it. I'm eager to find out if I'm going to get the job or
Excited to
whatever,
know.
you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, watching that language is so, so important, and saying, oh, I'm so worried about so and so, or I'm so worried about the results from the doctor visit. How about just saying, well, isn't that interesting? I'm noticing I'm really worried about the information that I'm going to hear from the doctor later. Maybe I could change from worry to something else. Maybe I could be curious. What if I was curious?
Mm-hmm.
That isn't as stressful on the brain and the body as saying, I'm worried.
And we have no control over the outcome of those test results. So
Right,
worry will get you nowhere.
right. It's not going to help. It will help you more to be curious. And maybe you need to say, okay, here are the plans I'm going to make. I'm going to make 2 lists and say, if this test result is this, these are the things I'll do. If the test result is this, these are the things I'm going to do.
I love it.
So, yeah. Okay. So we're ready to go on to number 2?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of my favorites that I teach the parents of kids with eating disorders. It's called the 4-7-8 breathing. And all it is breathing in for a count of 4, breathing, holding the breath for a count of 7, and then breathing out for a count of 8. So I think we should demonstrate this together. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, I do, because people think that breathing is like, they don't, and it's same with meditation. Meditation's all about breathing. And people don't know how to get started with it. And it's so simple, but if you don't know how to do it, it's confusing. So yeah,
Right,
let's
right.
demonstrate.
Yeah. And so when we talk about breathing, it's like noticing, like right now, as Amy and I are talking and you're listening, we're all breathing, but we're not paying attention to our breath.
Mm-hmm.
So this is different. We're going to pay attention to our breath. And we're going to do it really consciously. And that's going to calm down our central nervous system so that we can have more access to our brains and to connecting our mind and our body and being calmer. So when we look at the 4-7-8 breath, we're thinking about breathing in, sitting up straight, or if you, need to lay down, laying. See how much straighter I am? I can see the white part of my shirt now sitting, whereas before I was kind of like slumped down. So it's like, okay, sitting up straight. And then you're going to breathe in through your nose and let it go all the way down into your belly. We're not going to scrunch our shoulders up into our into our ears. We're just going to keep our shoulders where they are, but let that breath come into the belly. So just, and then hold it. So you're breathing in for a count of 4, and then hold it for that 7, which takes a while, and then breathe out for 8. So let's try it together. I'm going to have you, can they see both of us at the same time, Amy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why don't you do it and I'll count, because it's hard for me to count and do it at the same time. So we're going to go, all right, in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What are you noticing?
Oh, we should have done this first.
What?
We should have done this
We should have
first.
done this first.
I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm so relaxed right now. Like,
Wow. Just after doing it 2 times.
And I've been at the mall, overstimulated. I'm tired. The anxiety starts setting in. I'll go sit on a bench and do that. 1 or 2 breaths, and I feel so much more, like right now, I feel so grounded. I feel straight. I don't feel crooked.
Yeah.
I feel calm.
Wow.
It's so powerful.
It is. And just doing it twice, and you can do that. And I just, while you were talking, I did it.
10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you don't get dizzy, do it too long so you get dizzy. But that's such a popular one with the parents of kids with eating disorders, because we can ruminate, and with anybody who's got a challenging situation going on, you can start ruminating about things. And this stops that ruminating. It's just like, whoop, it's like putting up a stop sign. Nope, no more ruminating.
I think too, this could be powerful. Some TBI people can be combative or have like mood disorders, where they get angry or violent.
Okay.
And I think this could be a really good tool for the caregiver to be, let's do our breaths.
Yeah, do it together. Great idea.
And I think that can really diffuse situations, as long as that person's in a state of mind where they can acknowledge what you're asking them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be a powerful tool for a caregiver, if their loved one is starting to kind of spiral out of control. And sometimes as a survivor, we don't even notice when we're starting to have those actions, because sometimes it's like the fatigue is setting in and we're not obvious to what's happening. So I think this is a really good way to just hit that reset button.
Yeah, good ideas. I love that, to do it together. I'm going to suggest that to the parents of kids with eating disorders. They can do it
I just thought of that.
if the child is with them. Yeah, a lot of moms will tell me they use it to get to sleep at night because they just can't get to sleep.
I was like, oh, I'm ready to just take a nap.
Yeah, and then women of a certain age, some of us wake up during the night hot, and it can be a great way to get back to sleep.
Yeah. And that's a huge problem with TBI, is people have sleeping problems.
Okay.
So this is a great tool. And we talked earlier about how concentrating on those numbers, 4, 7, 8, it shuts off all that other chatter going on inside your head.
Right. And even if you have to count on your fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just doing that can be another way to continue to be in your body and not going off with all the monkey mind.
I love it. So
our last one is the laughter yoga. It is very silly, and maybe we should have done this first too. And there you are, you're already doing it. That's how simple laughter yoga is. It's not anything specific. You just can laugh. When I am speaking to audiences, I'll often do one where we go, hee, 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 ha, hee, 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 ha. And we do our arms up, hee, 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 ha, hee, 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 ha. And it's really silly, but everyone's smiling in the audience after we do it. And what happens is your brain then releases all those happy chemicals, that dopamine's just like, ooh, okay. And I don't know how it is for people with traumatic brain injury. You mentioned the apathy earlier. Mm-hmm. Is that a piece of it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Apathy is a really common side effect with brain injury. And apathy is where you just kind of don't feel anything. You're really flat. You don't have a desire. You just, you don't have desire to laugh. Even if something's funny, you just,
Does it make it so the brain can't produce that dopamine? Is that what's going on?
What it is. I don't know enough scientifically, but I know that laughter yoga, even if you're faking it, your body,
it doesn't know the difference.
Yes.
Your brain doesn't know the difference. So, I mentioned in the podcast that we did that just smiling the Mona Lisa smile can do it. So just like that. Yeah. You're driving in your car and traffic's horrible and you're like, you just go. And pretty soon the calming chemicals are going to release. Now, I don't know with traumatic brain injury how that works. If people's brains, what did you notice when we did it earlier? Did you notice it felt any different?
Yep.
Definitely. Okay. So you don't have to do the he, ha, he, ha. Although I kind of like that one because it includes the breathing. It gets more air in. It moves your diaphragm.
Body moving.
Yeah. So you can do that if you want. The he, ha, he, ha. Or you can just go, ha, 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 ha. So do it with us now. Just ha, 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 ha.
It's hard not, and then once you start doing it, it's hard not to laugh.
Right. And if you need to, you could look in the mirror. I mean, we're seeing each other and ourselves on the screen right now. Listeners maybe aren't seeing themselves, so they can look in a mirror, the reflection on their computer screen. and just do it. And then you're just so silly. You feel so silly that you just automatically start laughing. But you don't even have to do it. So if you're sitting in a meeting or something and you go, well, I can't go hee 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 ha or ha 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 because I'm in a meeting, you can think about laughing and it actually changes your brain. One of my audience members told me that once when I was doing the laughter yoga, and I was like, I didn't know that. That's so cool. And it really does. And I've tried it. And when I'm sitting in a meeting and I'm bored out of my mind and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get out of here. And I think, okay, think about the laughter yoga. Think about laughing, and pretty soon I'm like, okay, I'm doing better. So I like all these tools because it doesn't cost any money. You don't need any specific tools. You have your body and you can use these things anytime, anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's just briefly recap your 3 strategies.
So 1 is stop and notice the thought, the distressing thought, and ask yourself, how is this serving me? 2 is the 4-7-8 breathing, and 3 is the laughter yoga. So those are my 3 tips today for stress relief.
And they're so good and they're so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And they might feel weird the first couple times you do them, but if you do that 4-7-8 breathing, I guarantee you're going to feel it immediately. And same with the laughter. Like if you're really feeling just kind of crabby and like you're having a really heavy brain fog day, even if you really don't feel like you have enough energy to laugh, just try it. Just do the Mona Lisa smile.
Yep.
And then, even if it's just a silly little laugh, even if it's not a big laugh, just consciously, even if your cheeks don't move, because I know my face wouldn't move in the beginning, even if your cheeks don't move, your muscles still think they are.
Right. And your brain thinks it is. That's the really important part. And that's like the thinking about it, just thinking about it. So even if if you've got some temporary paralysis, you can still think about laughing and it will help you.
These were so great, Becky. Thank you so much. And
you're welcome,
everyone watching, I hope that you practiced along. And in the notes below here, we've got those 3 strategies listed out for you as well. And Becky, how can they find you? What is your website?
My website is eatingdisorderfamilysupport.com.
And you also have a YouTube channel, correct? With some of your...
Yes, Becky Henry is my YouTube channel.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here.
You are welcome. Thank you so much, Amy, for having me.
And thank you everyone for watching. I hope you got some great tools from this, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.